if I got an email or like a Skype message. I think it was a Skype message. I think I got added on Skype by Jay, and he like introduced himself, and I was like, fucking course I know who you are. And he was like, Hex and I want to have a call with you and talk about the Gears of War team. And I was like, okay, like yeah. And I don't think Hex was on the first calls, but we had a call and he just basically said, yeah, like we're interested, we want to sign you guys, like here's what we would offer, here's what you would do. Um and on actually the best and worst part, like because I remember that first call happened, like they were interested and they asked what we were looking for and what they told us, like what they were like willing to offer. And like obviously from a business thing, I'm like, yeah, we're super interested, like let us talk about it and like I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Mhm.
And um I remember going out to my parents and like just like crying as like a young adult and just being like I we're in, like
Yeah.
we should be good to go with Optic, like that's and like we'll get paid a salary and everything. And obviously the team was all on board. And then I had the follow-up call and he said, okay, so like this is all great, and just like so there's no like miscommunication or anything, we're only interested in signing the 4 players, we don't really need any managers. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, well, like my heart sank, right?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like,
Oh, yeah.
well, so I'm not just a manager, I'm their coach. And he was like, okay, that's different, can you send me some like examples of like the stuff that you do for them? And so I did. I sent him like our practice schedules, and I sent him like notes and stuff that I've done. And like I don't know if he like talk to the players too, but I remember like maybe like a couple days later, he was like, all right, well, it seems like you're a valuable asset to the team, so we'll be signing you as well. And you'll be under the same contract as them and salary and everything. And I was like, holy like that was when it was like real, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we had our call, we got our contracts and had them like read over and everything and signed, and then we had our call with Hex. And I'll never forget, like, during that call, one, I was, like, shaking with excitement because, again, like, watching Hex's vlogs was, like, part of my daily routine, right?
Yeah.
And so we were going over, like, the announcement, and he was talking to us, like, the stuff that they wanted to do and, like, timing-wise, and it was gonna be in Vision.
Yeah, dude.
And,
What an experience.
yeah, and I was, like, just, like, in disbelief and, like, trying to like, my team was very quiet. I mean, they were young kids, so I'm trying to, like, be, like, the calm voice of, like, I'm the leader of the team.
Right.
And,
But you're just much of a fanboy.
but, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying not to freak out. And and, there was a point, and he was like, and I want you guys to understand that just because you joined Optic, don't mistake that as you've made it. Like this is the start of when I want to see you bust your ass to prove it. And like this is where the real work starts. And I remember that resonating with me because I had already like started a content creation, like daily uploads and streaming and all of that grind
Mhm,
in
mhm.
hopes of joining Optic. And I'm like, yeah, no, I've made it. Like, and I remember like starting to kind of have those thoughts and then hearing him say that. And I was like, yeah, I gotta prove that I belong here. Like I already kind of
Right.
had to prove, like, because it wasn't in their plan to sign me. I gotta prove that like they didn't make a mistake and that I belong here.
Right.
And um, yeah, I mean, it was kind of history from there. We got our vision announcement, and
That was
I
sick,
remember
dude.
freaking out. And yeah,
Well, I mean, he even like one thing that stuck out to me from Hex's or from Vision itself was like when even with Hitch, like, Hitch was brought on, but he's just like, make no mistake, like you're just the fucking camera dude. You know what I mean? Like
mhm,
you're like, just because you're here, like it doesn't mean you are a part of the family. Like you earned your keep. Like
yeah,
once you give it, like it sounds like he gives you the shot, and if you don't make it on the shot, like then it's like, okay, later. You know?
yeah. Optic was the elusiveness of getting in touch with them to begin with.
Sure, sure.
Um, you're part of the family when at those during those times, right? Like the real Optic times.
Yeah.
You were part of the family when you got brought in, but you I'm trying to think of a way to describe it that's not ever going to be taken as insulting. It was almost like picture joining a frat. Like just because you join doesn't mean you're
Right.
in that like circle, right? Like you still
Right.
got to prove that you belong and that you're all about it.
Yeah.
Um, and like you can earn your keep, right? which I'm not saying like Optic was a frat, but
No, I get it,
uh,
dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like just because we were there and we were wearing the same branding wasn't it didn't mean that we were initially part of that inner circle. We had to like prove that we were going to do a good
Sure,
job
sure.
because Optic was so close knit and so tight. It was I think a larger risk than we see now in esports when another team was brought under that banner to wear that brand and represent Optic.
Yeah,
You had to understand Optic's values and you had to understand Optic's culture and its roots and prove that those were the same kind of values that you had. So I think that was like, you know, signing us as a team, like as a business move, made sense. It made
oh
Optic. I
yeah,
mean, it
oh yeah,
further sealed Optic as like the brand that dominated like console because you have
bro,
the
yeah.
winning COD team and you have the winning Halo team. Like there was a month where we won back to back to back
I
weekends, right?
remember that, yeah,
For like Gears Halo or Halo Gears COD,
yeah,
and like that's never going to be done again, right?
yeah,
Like that's just done with. It's never going to be that kind of accomplishment is never going to be achieved again. It at least anytime in the near future. So um we had to like make sure that like when we showed up we represented what Optic was about and that we understood and that other part of it was like uh not letting it get to our heads, right?
yeah,
Like,
oh
I
yeah,
think
I can
that
only
that
imagine.
might be a mistake that people make is like they join a brand like their dream org, and then that kind of like I've made it mentality, and then they don't work as hard. And we were
Right,
like, no, like we're gonna win everything.
yeah,
Like that we're not here to win one trophy and make Hex proud. Like we're here to like have him like getting a box every day of like, oh, here's another Gears trophy, here's another Gears trophy. Like
yeah,
that was our goal. Um, and I think we did a pretty good job of it.
yeah, man.